Hey there everyone! Are you looking to create some reality warping sets for your fantasy and sci-fi scenes, or just simple mangled up destruction of stuff? Well, good news for you, because we'll be covering how to warp and deform objects in Blender today on the Digital Paul Workshop. It is I, the mess that decides to rebel, reminding you that every model has its quirks. Techno Meow Tinkerer. Let's log on in. So we're going to take a look here on how to deform a couple shapes using the Shrinkwrap modifier. I already got this set up here. It's nothing more than just a cube with a bunch of subdivisions and a set of 4 cylinders that can. So in this case, I'm going to take the wireframe off. I'm going to switch over to the X-ray so you can kind of see what I'm doing here. I'm going to go to the top view, I'm going to grab and hit X so I can make sure I bring it over to where I want it, over these, because I'm going to tell you right now, you want it where this origin point is at, because that's going to affect the shrink wrap in this particular case. And so I'm going to come over to add modifier, I'm going to come down to the deform, go to shrink wrap. Now in the case you could hit the eyedropper, but because it's objects within the object I'm shrink wrapping, I'm going to actually just come on down, and I named those 6 cylinders cans, and as you can see, it wraps the object around the can. So I remove the cans, or I hide them, and I can just go ahead and hit apply, and as you can see, it gives me that look like I got a bunch of cans wrapped around in plastic. Another thing I want to show you quickly is if you want to make like a T-joint pipe, you can take a circle that I've extruded and sized down to give me the pipe hole, and I want to put it onto this one. Well, I just go back to add modifier, deform, shrink wrap, and this I want to use the eyedropper since it's a thing. But as you can kind of see, it does not deform nicely around my circle here. So one way we can get around that is we come up here to where it says wrap method. I change it to project. I switch it off of positive and go to negative, and it gives me a lot better, nicer view of it projecting. And then you can go in, you can either add in like a what was it, was it generate, where we add skin modifier. You can kind of go in and do that if you want to, or if I just simply hit apply and I just tab in and then just extrude, I can kind of extrude it out. And we just come in here, set my well, I don't even have to really set my word, really have to set that. I can just go here, shift X0, give me that nice little pipe look. And you can go in and edit everything to make it where you got a nice little hole and join everything together. Booleans, there's all different ways you can go about doing that part, but let's just show you how you can use the skin modifier to manipulate objects into different shapes. So we're going to take a look at proportional editing as another way to deform or warp or change an object shape. As you see here, I already got this nice little pillar made. I'm going to go ahead and click on it, tab on in. Now how I can get around that little loop there. Now if I hold down my Alt key, whatever edge I'm close to when I select is the path it's going to follow. And so I just want to go around there, and I'm going to come up here to this little circle here at the top. It's called proportional editing, shortcut O. I'm going to click it on, and now if I hit my G key, you see it creates this nice little circle, and depends on ever how small or big I make it, you see how much of it alters and changes. So we come to side view, hit G, and you really see when I use the scroll wheel to reduce it down or to enlarge it. And this is real good, especially if I decide, like, let's slide this over just, oops, not down, let's tab you out, slide you over just a bit. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate you, and then we're going to right click again. I'm going to do mirror on Y global, Oh, no wonder it didn't do the global right. I don't have this set right. I need to go to 3D cursor. Now we go to mirror Y global, and boom, I now have a portal-like structure doorway. Is it fantasy? Is it sci-fi? Well, that's up for you to decide in your creation. But that is a interesting or an easy way on how to do this in Blender. So this method we're looking at on how to deform an object is the lattice modifier along the lattice tool. As you can see here, I already got like a building structure done with a bunch of loop cuts, so it can give us some stuff to manipulate here. I want to hold the shift key down, hit my A, and click on lattice. And let's get over to X-ray view so we can kind of see what we're doing. I want to bring this on up to about right there, and then I'm going to size it to try to get as close as I can to being around the full object. Let me slide this up a little bit more, size it out. Let's go to this side, and I'm gonna just open. Okay, now that I got that little lattice box fixed, and as you can see over here, it creates this nice little lattice looking tool, the data, and this is where you can come in and you can manipulate it. Like if I want to add in some loop cuts, you can. But what I'm going to want to do is click on this object, go back to my modifier, and come up here, and we're going to come on down to where it says deformed. I'm going to come over to lattice and click on that. So, and then I'm going to click on this and click on lattice. Now when I click on the actual lattice, I tab in, I can grab this, and then I can manipulate the object. I tab out. Now if I come back to this, and then I say if I want to, let's see which one of these I want to turn up. I think it's, so yeah, we can kind of do a couple different things. Tab on in, and so whatever one I choose to grab, as you can see, it manipulates everything. So I can really make this a very warped house, like something you might see out of some sort of whack dark fantasy type thing. And probably good too if you want to actually create some fantasy style homes that are more organic in nature, kind of like an Art Nouveau type thing. And so, and we can see here we grab him. You can see if I grab and move the whole lattice around, it looks like the house is made of water. So that is another way you can actually deform the object that you're working on into a different shape. So we're going to take a look at another way to deform an object using the warp modifier. As you can kind of already see here, I got a plane that's been subdivided or loop cut by a good number of times so we can see what we're doing. I want to hold down the shift. I want to hit A. I'm coming down here to empty. I want to hit plane axis. And then I'm going to come up here and hit shift again. A. I want to make another plane axis. And this one I want to bring up here. So I'm going to click on my mesh here. I'm going to come over to modifier, add modifier. I want to come down to deform and then warp. And then we got these two things right here for our empties. One's object from and one's object to. So like if I do empty, which is this bottom one here from, and then I do this empty, which is this one here, which is this one here, which is to. So now when I grab this, I hit G, and as you see, as I move it around, it modifies and manipulates the plane, makes it look like I got a heel, or if I'm just running around while making a wave. And if of course now if we was to click this and I was to switch these around, so if I grab this, you can see it doesn't do nothing. So I have to grab this one now, and this one lets me create that dip. And that is how you can use the warp modifier to manipulate and deform your objects in Blender. And this method of deforming an object we're going to look at is called the surface deform. And some of you are probably familiar when I did blue streak, prowl, and smoke screen. This card gave me a bit of a trouble. And so I'm going to deform it. So I'm selecting the front end right here that I want to. I'm come over to my little wrench modifier tool, click on modifiers. I'm going to deform. Come on down here where it says surface deform, and I'm going to come over here with the eyedropper, click on that, and I'm going to click on the object I'm going to use to deform it. In this case, I made this plane with a bunch of subsurfaces on it so that we can actually manipulate stuff. And now I'm going to come over here back to this side and I'm going to click bind. That way it connects the two shapes together. So now that they're bind, I want to click on this, tab on in. As you can see, I kind of already got some shapes on form. So let's come over here so we can kind of see what we're doing. Grab it. As you can kind of see, it's manipulating part of the image, not all of it. Let's select a different area, grab, and there you go. Now you can start seeing. So depending upon where I grab is what's going to be affected. Not seeing too much. Oh, why is not grabbing that side of the car as much as this side? Might be because, let me tab out, go back to this, unbind it, click this, bring it on down closer. Go back to this, and now I'm going to click bind again. We can click on this tab, and let's see if I can get in here to grab some stuff, and if it will manipulate some stuff. Yeah. For some reason, it only wants to do one side. I don't really know. But another thing you can do also is let me make sure this is bind back again. Is I can come up here to my proportional editing, turn that on, and so now when I tab in here, grab some stuff. Oops, rather turn the proportional editing on while I'm tabbed in. As you can see, it can really manipulate and move things around. So depending upon how big my circle is to how small is how much stuff is going to be manipulated. And that's just another way you can deform objects here in Blender. Another method we're going to look at how to deform an object in Blender is called the mesh deform. And as you can see here in my car, I got a cube sitting right in the middle of it. That's okay, because it's going to be part of what we're going to use to help deform it. So I'm going to click on the front end here that I'm going to deform. My modifier wrench tool, come to modifier, deform. I'm going to come on down here to where it says mesh deform. Grab my little eyedropper tool and then click on the cube, and then I'm going to click bind. Now, my system takes a moment for it to bind together. I don't know why it takes longer compared to some of the others on how to do this. Now that it's bound, I can click on my cube. I'll actually come up here to my x-ray so we can see what we're doing. On tab on in, I got this corner, hit my G for grabbing. As you can see, as I move the corner around, it is manipulating the shape. And let's grab this one. I come up here and manipulate that shape. Let's bring these two together. Side S for scale, move you on down, grab, let's move you on, hit the Z on out. As you can see, I can kind of really deform and change the shape overall. So let me find my cube here. Where is my cube? And we can hide it now. We can see how warped my front end is now. Looks like he's been in a car wreck. And that's just another way on how you can deform your objects in Blender. So this method of deforming an object in Blender is going to allow us to twist and bend it in different ways. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my car again. I'm going to click on the front. I'm going to go over to my wrench tool for add modifier. On the forms, I'm going to come on down to Simple Deform. And here we got where we can twist it, bend it, taper it, and stretch it, all depending upon which axis we want. Of course, you can click on the axis and change the degrees on how much you want something to bend or warped, or in this case I was twisting. In the case this is the bending, so this goes that way. So now I would recommend sometimes, depending upon your object, you may want to just tab on in, make sure everything hit A for everything, and come in and subdivide it some. Let's give it a little bit more, let's give it 5, really make it stand out. And then I'm going to come add my deform modifier, Simple Deform. And this way, it kind of gives you a little bit more playroom on how this stuff's going to react. So like if I want to do that, I'm a talking car now. And so yeah, you can have some fun this way and do it this way for a couple different things to see what type of effect. Ooh, it's like almost like a rocket there. Stretch it that way, stretch it that way. So yeah. Just some more ways to have fun deforming your objects in Blender. So that's just 7 methods that you can use to deform objects, so you can create your whimsical fantasy scenes based around organic nature to your reality warping sci-fi dimensions, as well as simple destruction of objects. And of course, if you like my content, you can support me different ways by going to these websites right here, and they're also in the description, as well as like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone you think might find it interesting. And if you're looking at some more ways to create things in Blender, some powerful methods to duplicate objects, I recommend you check out my video, 5 ways to duplicate in Blender. Until next time, have a nice day.